Cool. Alrighty. Do you guys hear that constant dripping? It's because it's raining outside. You may.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going over, on the bottom and guard and whatnot, and since this week we're going to continue doing so. We're going to go ahead and include punches in the positions. Get one more. All right, cool. Okay, so we're going to include punches from the guard, okay? We're going to try to work both being inside someone's guard and you being, you using your guard against someone else, all right? So the first one we're going to go over is just being inside someone's guard. Okay, so when you're punching, there's two positions that you have to be in. Either all up, like I am, all postured up, or you're going to have to be all inside, okay, or all the way down. Both are relatively safe, but they both give you two different outcomes, okay? And in an actual fight, you will probably end up using both. You can be alternating between both of them back and forth, all right? But let's go over a couple of things on how to punch when you are inside someone's guard. A lot of the times we will see someone, they'll punch like so, meaning that they're going to use more of these knuckles here, like this, okay? Or they're going to try to curl in on the fist, like that, all right? It's okay, but it really is not going to be as effective as you think. More often than not, you will end up probably injuring your own wrist, okay? So what you need to do is you need to turn your hand, okay? So when you punch, you're going to have to turn, and you're going to have to try to lead with those two knuckles, with the index knuckle and your middle knuckle. So when you punch, you're going to have to punch like so, okay? Not like you would typically punch when you were standing up, like throwing a hook, okay? We kind of covered this before in the previous things that you can do when you're punching, depending on, let's say, in sport. If it's amateurs, you can't really use elbows too much, but when it's professional, you can definitely use elbows, okay? So in amateurs, you can definitely elbow like this. You can elbow here, okay? So you can use your elbow to kind of soften up the thigh. And this is good because it causes wear and tear over time, okay? A very simple and effective combination that I haven't seen actually in a long time is you go punch, or you go elbow and then punch, okay? I haven't seen that in a long time. It's probably because a lot of people nowadays are onto it, but when it was back like 10 years ago, that was pretty common to see, okay? So you're here, you're holding on, just like in geese, and with the gripping, when we talk about your grip has to be on top, same thing with your grabbing on the wrist. It has to be on top so that you have a clear shot to be able to punch, okay? It's going to be very hard for you to punch if the person's holding on to your wrist because they will dictate your fist, okay? So keep those things in mind. Your hands have to be on top so that you can start punching, okay? To add power to your punches, again, the twisting of your fist, it increases the impact a lot more, and also you coming up and down. So it's like down like this, up and down, okay? Coming up definitely increases more chance for you to throw more of an impact because you have more of a space coming down, more of a projection, okay? And it also gives you the ability to reach down a little bit more, okay? As opposed to if you're sitting on your heels, it's kind of hard to reach the person on their chin, okay? You have to come up and then swing like so. All right, that's going to be the safest way for you to still recover back to a solid base when you come up and you swing like this, here, like, okay? Because then you gotta crash back down like this. It allows you to work your way back up, and now you're, again, working those positions, okay? Any questions?
No.
Okay. So, all right. Things that you can do from here. Again, punch the gut. Okay. If you're gonna punch down, you again twist your wrist as you punch down, or you hammer punch. And hammer punching is very popular because it's super effective. Okay. And there's a certain way that you want to hammer punch. Okay. You don't want to just go like this and flex your arm and swing down. It's more like a whip. Okay. You swing up, and then when you hit, you kind of do this motion. Okay? My fist will go like that. Okay? You don't want to be so stiff, because if you're stiff like this, you're going to burn up more energy on your arms, and you're going to do what they call punch out. Okay? You're going to punch yourself out. So you just want to be more here like this, just more relaxed. Okay? You're using the gravity to help you. You initiate it with your body, and then let gravity just do its work. Okay? Just here like this, punching, twisting. Okay? That's a good thing about being high up, is that you can definitely work the body. All right? But in combination, when you're going back down, as we talked about, you have inside control. Just here like this. You're still going to get hit, but it's not going to be as bad. All right? It's going to be annoying more than anything. How you're going to be working. The traditional combination from here is going to be body, body, head. Okay? That is the traditional combination of you being down inside someone's guard and being all the way down on their body. It's going to go body, body, head. Okay? That's dating all the way back to probably Rene Couture. He made that one pretty famous. Okay? Inside control again. Again, you're 1, 2, and then over. All right? And same thing when you're punching down here low. Don't punch like you're knocking on the door. You want to turn. Turn the knuckle. 1, 2, and then over. Okay? Every once in a while, sure, you may end up kind of going like this, but that's not going to be very effective. Okay? And you will feel yourself like you are knocking on the door. It's just not going to feel correct as much as you turning your wrist over and you hitting it. It's kind of like you took a knife and you're stabbing the person. Okay? I believe it's called casting, this type of punching on the ground. All right? This is popularized by Fyodor Emelianenko, a Russian fighter. He was very good at punching like this, of turning that wrist over. He was the one that defeated Nogueira, Big Nog, at the time when Nogueira had the deadliest guard in MMA, and he willingly went inside his guard and then just beat him up to a pulp. Not once, twice. Okay? And he showed the effectiveness of him having good grappling experience, good grappling awareness, good submission awareness, but more importantly, knowing how to inflict a lot more damage from inside the guard than just your typical trying to knock on the door and hammer punching. Okay? So that ability to cast your arm in was very crucial. And it does create more of a sting. Okay? Again, like you're stabbing someone. And you can kind of hook through. When you're here, you can kind of go like this, and you can go through the body. Okay, you can kind of come up, and boom. So it does create like a momentum shift to be able to deliver the big impact over to the head. All right. Any questions?
No.
So again, you're here. Trying to control the inside. You're going to get hit. Not a big deal. Stay in here. Body, body, head. Kind of motion. Body, body, head. That's very popular again. Body, body, head. When you get stuck in here, be careful not to commit too much to these underhooks when you're going body, head. Okay, you want to have the inside, and that's gonna be very easily distracting for you. You will forget about that because you're gonna get stuck again. 1, 2, 3. You know, and 1, 2, 3, and the person's gonna do a good enough job, maybe defending 1, 2, 3, and you get stuck like this. You get your arm down there. If you have your arm down there for a couple seconds, it's not a big deal. It's fine. But if you keep it there, then you just willingly just start to pin yourself to them. Okay? So you have to work it out to be able to recover. Okay? So that's that one. The other one is you're going to get closer to them by bringing them to you. All right? If they have a good close guard and they're just not opening it for whatever reason, and they're just not moving from here, in fighting, there's a guard pass, and it's called a can opener. It's essentially a neck crank, okay? It was made very popular in the early 2000s, but especially when GSP used it. Georges St. Pierre, he was using it in one of his fights with Matt Hughes, I believe when he won the title. He used it to open the guard and eventually pass. But it's just an old school Valetudo guard pass and opening. So what you do is the person is, they feel locked. They're not going to let go anytime soon. So I'm going to reach. So I reach for the neck, but I do so with a punch. So I'm going to throw and overcommit. And I hold onto the clinch, work my way into the clinch like this. Okay? And what I want to do is I want to use my elbows and brace in front of the chest and bring the head forward. Okay? And I'm going to bring the head forward. Bringing the head forward like this. Okay? So what that does, that puts a lot of strain on the person's neck. All right? If they are being stubborn and refuse to open their legs, that is definitely going to inflict injury on their neck. But here's the trick. It's super easy to defend it. Can you guys take a guess on how to defend it? So the whole objective is to do what with this particular can opener? Is to open the legs, right? Make the legs go open, go wide. So if you ever find yourself stuck in this position and someone's doing this to you, you release the pressure by opening your legs. Okay? They're here like this, and they start to crank you in. You release the pressure by opening your legs because they're committed on your head. Okay? And as soon as they let go of this head control, you can close your legs back again. Okay? So just kind of FYI there. But yeah, it's just a counterweight position, okay? Because you're using your legs and you're trying to push me back on my hips, and then I fold you over on your neck. It puts a lot of tension on your spine, especially over by your shoulders. I personally know 2 people that have had, one had neck surgery because of it. He had a disc blown out of his spot from refusing to let go from the closed guard. And the other one to this day still has some neck injuries, bulging disc, I believe, on and off. But it resulted from being constantly stuck in this particular can opener neck crank of a guard pass. Both people were completely just stubborn in letting go. I know I've myself been stuck in a can opener. I find myself where back in the beginning where I would be very stubborn and not let it go because I fought so hard to get to the guard. But just open your legs, release the tension, and when they release the tension on your neck, you can just close your legs back up. It's just a simple solution. Okay? Don't let your ego, kind of get in the way of that. Don't let your unsure if you're going to be able to keep them in guard get in the way of you keeping your neck safe. Okay? Just kind of FYI for reference. But as I use the can opener, okay, I can do that to punch them a little bit more. A very popular thing to do with a can opener in this position, because you're here, is they'll get in this position and they will bring one leg up, okay? They will bring one leg up, and the same side arm is going to keep in the back of the head. And the reason why they do that is because now it's easier for the person to start elbowing. It's easier for them to start punching a lot like this, okay? Because, again, you brought them closer to you, all right? Every once in a while, you might see someone go ahead and come up, and they'll come up to both legs like this. This was an old school way of them coming up to their feet and being able to start to, ground and pound like this, okay? They would use a can opener head position to work the way back up because, like in sport jiu-jitsu, we talked about in the past, you control the arm that you're coming up on first so that you can come up here and you can start working and opening the guard, right? And you can start passing. That's very hard to do in MMA. You just coming back up like this here because they're also going to be punching you and gut checking you and whatnot and hooking and all this other good stuff, right? And so the can opener.
Coach,
Yeah.
in that can opener, do you hold the back of the opponent's head like this, or do you interlace your fingers?
Can you get your knees? Right here. I'll show you here real quick. Right here. Turn. All right, head up. Okay. Like this.
Like that. Okay.
Just like that. Okay. You don't ever want to interlace your fingers. All right.
Okay.
If you interlace your fingers, you have you take a risk of breaking your fingers. And even if you have gloves, it'll make your grip like this because there's gauze in between your fingers and it prevents your fingers from completely locking into place anyways. Okay. You want a palm over palm. All right.
Okay.
You every once in a while you may have to go more of a traditional Muay Thai and you go gable grip and you bring it in. Okay, you're gonna use this motion. Okay. You go gable grip and you use the knuckle to push the head forward to create the leverage in front of the collarbone. All right, but the easiest one is this: palm over palm. The blade of your forearm will rest on the person's shoulder and collarbone, and it's going to help you. It's going to help you do this to their neck. Okay. So you're using that collarbone of theirs as the fulcrum point for you to use your lever from your hands to bring the head forward. All right. That's what's going to help, A, put a lot of stress on the neck, but B, it's going to bring them closer to you so that you can start doing little punches, little elbows, little forearm strikes, okay? And that's also going to help you climb up to your feet. You take advantage of, them being here like this, and you came up to one side, and now they're really starting to push you away, because that's usually the typical thing. They start pushing you away. You can come back up, shift your hand over to the shoulders, and as you raise up, you bring your hips forward. Okay? Now you can really start to bring down the pain, as they say. Okay? This is where you see a lot of the guys in MMA fights where they will come up once like this, and then they're going to do like a flying downwards elbow strike to the person, and they'll go right back inside the guard. They're kind of like throw themselves down, and the person's going to catch them back into the closed guard, and they're going to be back in here like this, working their positions again. Okay. Again, also this is another position too where you'll be here. You're going to be in a squatted position. Same thing. Work the thighs, work the body. But if you can, for sure, that's when you start to punch down into their face, and it helps if you twist that punch. Okay, If you're gonna do hammer fist, same thing. It's gonna be like this. Okay, it's gonna be more like a sideways hammer fist. You don't want to go straight down. Okay, if I use my right hand as a hammer fist, I'm gonna hit on her right side of the face. Same thing with my left hand. If a hammer fist, I will hit the left side of her face. I'm not gonna hit the same side. It does not make any sense. You're not gonna inflict as much damage. Okay, and that's where you start getting caught with your wrist, and they'll do whatever they can from there. If you hit straight down in the middle of their face, you're not gonna have as much. You're not really gonna have much impact. If you're gonna hit in the middle of the face, you're gonna aim with your fist. You're gonna have to rotate that fist down. Okay? But if you're gonna hit with hammer fist, you hit on the side. On the side. All right? One neat little trick that you can kind of take away from here is hammer fist. People will start to turn away. You're gonna have to aim. You're gonna aim right here and hit him in the throat, neck area. All right, just like boom in there. All right, and you do that because, well, one, it sucks when it gets done to you. All right, it's like, ugh. If you want to feel how it feels, just do that to yourself. Just go like that. All right. So it sucks. The impact is way different than what you think. When you get hit in the face, you can kind of feel more of a sharp, impact in a way. But you get hit right here on the soft tissue, there's like a second, 2 second after effect, like a ripple effect that goes through your body, especially like into your head. So that's something you can do. So you can use that little bit of a ripple effect that you cause from aiming like that, to be able to drill them again harder with the following shot. Okay? This is why a lot of the times in fighting, you'll see someone that has a good guard, and then all of a sudden it looks like they missed their face and they kind of hit them like up here on their chest, on their shoulder. But the person kind of freezes for a second and they make stupid decisions for like the next 30 seconds, right? Well, it's because it's like they got shocked. And their body is about a 2-3 second delay in actually moving the correct way at the right timing. They will still move correctly, but they will time it wrong, because that ripple effect will still affect their way of reacting to the rest of the movements. Okay? I know in traditional martial arts, there's that strike to the side of the throat, that if you hit it correctly, you could make people pass out. Have you guys ever heard about that?
Yeah, it's almost like shutting your computer down.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's the same thing like that. Someone who was really good at it on their feet, or who is really good at it on their feet, his name is Roy Nelson, also known as Big Country. He currently fights for Bellator, but he used to fight in the UFC for a long time. He's a big, heavy-set guy with a giant belly, and he's short. He's about 5'10", and he fights all these heavyweights that are like 6'4". And so what he does is that he doesn't aim for the face. He aims for the neck every single time. And he has a whole YouTube highlight reel of him knocking out these heavyweights by just decking them on the side of the neck. So it's the same idea.
So is that why when you get hit here, it seems like some of those guys, they go backwards or forwards, they're stiff as a board?
Yeah, because, you got hit, and it's these nerves. I can't remember what it's called. Brachial nerve? Something like that. I can't remember. I have to do more.
It's the vagus nerve?
So, yeah, maybe that. I have to do more research on the actual name of the nerve. But yeah,
Vagus nerve.
they get hit and they just kind of, the ripple effect happens. You are reacting correctly, but you're about 3 seconds behind on your reaction. Okay? So it's kind of like the internet connection, right? It's my hand's here, but in your home, you may see it from here, and then here, and then here, and then back down, when I've already did all the motion and I've already moved to the next hand placement. Okay? I'm still doing the correct motion, but it's just the wrong timing. So when the person is on their back and you happen to do that to the side of their neck, it tends to loosen up a little bit of their feet. Okay? It loosens up a little bit of their feet, and you will always see the person inside the guard gain the momentum in their favor for the next, like I said, for like the next 30 seconds. And that is super crucial. Sorry. Yeah, cool. And that is crucial because you know, those 2-3 seconds are valuable, especially if you go against someone who has better grappling than you. You were just able to make them kind of be less or more stupid at grappling, and it gives you the ability to kind of get the upper hand, right? So again, it gives you still the ability for you to, you know, you kind of hit them a couple times, and then it gives you the ability to pop up. Okay. Now, when you are on your feet, let's check around. There you go. When you are on your feet, you want to have, you know, a good horse stance. Okay, good leg position, because you're going to use your legs. You're going to push your hips forward like this. Okay. You may adjust your stance a little bit depending on how heavy that person might be around your waist. Here, but you're going to come down and you're going to rotate in like this, down into the person's face. And the reason why we do that is even if you miss, a lot of the times a very inexperienced person or someone who's already kind of hurt, as soon as they see the fist coming in, they're going to let go of their feet, of the closed guard, and they're going to try to bring their feet in front of you. You know, trying to protect, trying to push back. Trying to push back like this, okay? And that's your cue for you to go like, psych, pushing back down, and that's when you start, you know, climbing back down into the actual finish, okay? So you start to kind of set them up because you hit them a couple times. Like I said, if you get lucky and you hit them on that side, kind of makes them a little weird. But even if it doesn't make them weird, it still gives you the ability to climb back up, okay? And as soon as you climb back up, again, we got back here, good position, hit them, pop, pop, here. If you hit them hard in the gut, a lot of the times it causes their feet to come forward like this to protect themselves, right? Protect themselves here. But again, you can use that as a tactic to bring your hips forward, pop their ankles, and leg drag them to the side so that you can sit on their hamstring. And you can continue to just rain your punches from there. You can push on the shoulder. And you can really start to just coming in like this, hitting the person really, really hard on the side of their face. Okay? A perfect example of that recently was in the UFC, Jose Aldo versus Petr Yan. Jose Aldo is, you know, UFC champion, trying to go to two different weight class status as a champion. He was doing a really good job. In the 5th round, he got hurt really bad. He tried to use his guard, but Petr Yan did an excellent job of controlling his hips by his feet, and then he pushed him over to the side, and then proceeded to punch him like 74 times unanswered shots to the head before they called it off. And it was very controversial even then because they were, you know, Jose Aldo did a good enough job of defending himself by just moving and making it look like he was okay, even though he was just constantly getting hit in the head over and over and over and over again, okay? But it started pretty much from this position. He passed over his guard, controlled him, and it caused, or he made Jose Aldo go to a turtle position, okay? Because it went in here like this, and he's punching him, and he caused him to go to a turtle position, and now he's here like this, and he's just punching him over and over and over until the referee finally called it, okay? So you can use something like that as tactics also. Questions?
No.
All right. So then now let's deal with someone who brings has a closed guard and they go to their open guards, to like a volatile guard, right? Meaning they bring their feet forward here like this. Okay, their butt's off the ground and their shin is into the person's body. This is very traditional and typical, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu self-defense guard work, right? Because it makes it very hard for me to punch, right? And they bring their hips forward, just here like this, to keep me from reaching anything like this onto their body, right? I may be able to hit them, but that's not really gonna hurt as much because their feet and their legs are causing a lot of my power to not be effective. Okay? So we'll talk about this real quick. If this starts to happen here like this, again, you're gonna have to start to work your way back out. And this is what they want eventually, right? They want you to kind of get back out here like this. Okay, you got to work your way back up and out to get to these positions. From here, same thing. It's like a Toriano pass, Russell. Grab the ankles. You're going to use your feet to push forward. And then you're going to throw them to one side. And you're going to sit onto their thigh, onto their side of their hamstring. Okay? If you get lucky or if you are very aware of it, you can use this bottom leg and push it back down and staple. And staple that position right there. Okay? So I have my foot behind her hamstring and my knee in front of her quad as this leg is stuck in front of me. This is a very dominant position. She cannot really turn one way or the other. All right? And if she does, it's going to cause her to use... Huh?
It's going to hurt my knee.
Well, yeah. If she decides to power her way into one side, it's going to burn up a lot of her energy. Okay? And you see this a lot too in recent. This is a very popular position that you'll see in the UFC where you'll get here like this. The person goes close guard to more of these the traditional Gracie Jiu-Jitsu guards. They'll stand up. They'll go here and pass leg drag positions, and they'll be able to check and get here like this, and they'll start working over and over and over and over. Okay. That's also a great position for you to go into your submission finishes. All right? Head that way. A lot of the really good wrestler, jiu-jitsu hybrid fighters, they'll get to this spot here. They'll soften them up, okay? Wanting that arm like that to be blocking, and they're going to swing their arm through and get to these head arm choke positions, okay? Because a person's gonna be defending by trying to straighten it out, and it causes that leg to just swing to the side, and they're already tapping, okay? I'll show you guys the other angle from the feet. So we're here like this, okay? You're punching, 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 and that creates that angle for you to get in here like this. Once they feel the squeeze, they're probably going to try to extend to try to defend the choke, allowing that leg to swing by so that you can finish. Into that choke. Okay? So that's a really good position now that you get to see a lot in the UFC and pretty much any of the MMA arenas that you go and watch fights in. Okay? And for good reason. It's a very good spot to be in. Okay? Any questions from that point?
Nope.
All right. All right. So we go from here. They open their guard, and they're here. Okay? One other thing that they're going to be looking to do to you is they're going to frame against your body so that you can start leaning forward. Okay? Kind of leaning back a little bit, trying to punch in. And as soon as they feel that you lean forward, they're going to drop their hips down to the ground, causing you to come forward like this, okay? And their shins are going to go they're gonna separate and they're gonna go into kind of like your armpit, shoulder, or armpit and bicep area, and they're gonna use that opportunity to wrap your arms. Okay, wrap your tricep. So hips are up. They're here. You start to work in. She drops, kind of here like so. Okay. Traditionally, you're gonna see them go over to your tricep first, like this, and then they're gonna work down to the wrist. Okay. And the reason why they go to the tricep first is because if you go immediately to the wrist and you're all sweaty, there's a good possibility the person is just gonna pull out. But if you go to the tricep and you just slide all the way down and lock it to the wrist, you have this whole runway to work with. Okay? So here I start to maybe raise up and punch, and next thing I know, they collapse right in here like so. All right? Now, if this starts to happen against you, it's very hard for a lot of people to get away from here. Okay, start punching. Okay, especially punching, because the shin is pushing into my kind of into my bicep shoulder area. Her foot is keeping my hip back, and she's locking my wrist to her hips. It's very hard. It's a lot of weight to carry on my arm. Okay, but again, if you have grappling experience, you probably worked with this before, you defeat the grip by rotating your wrist through. Okay? It's as simple as that, but a lot of the times we get tunnel vision because we want to hit them so much, right? We want to hit them now, and we get tunnel vision. But wrist in, just like so. Okay? As soon as this happens, pop up and get your hands in front of those shins. Just like we talked about in the previous class. Get your hands those shins, and you can work your way back up. Okay? You can easily just push them over to the side, a quick little pass, and punch them. Or you can get a little bit more specific if they shoot their feet in front of your hips. You can pop, you catch it over to the side, and you can just continue going. Okay? But it's just the wrist control and the arm control what you really have to pay attention to. One step at a time, okay? Don't get in a rush. You have to hurry. You have to try to be as swift as possible through these positions, but don't get in a rush, okay? If you get in that rush, you are going to get stuck. You're probably going to regress 2 or 3 steps further back than what you want to, and it's just going to be a huge pain in the butt, okay? When it comes to punching and grappling, you should be okay with maybe giving up a 1 step, okay? Like you've advanced 3 steps forward, you should be okay with giving up, 1 step back, but no further than that. If you allow more steps to be, pushed back on you, you have no real control of the situation, all right? So you got to find a different way to control, to go 1, 2, 3, maybe 1 step back, another 1, 2, 3, 1 step back, 1, 2, 3, that kind of motion, okay? That's just so that you can be smart about it and keep yourself safe. Going against another person that knows what you're doing, right? That's the trick to that. If you go against someone that doesn't really know jiu-jitsu, doesn't know how to defend themselves on off their back, that is where a lot of injuries will happen to you. All right? And the reason being is because you will probably expect the person to react in a very specific manner, and they never do. This is where you'll probably get scratched in the face, get poked in the eye, get bit if you're not too careful. People are going to try to hit you with their feet. They're going to try to axe kick you. What else? Pull your hair. Did I say that? No? All right, pull your hair. So little things like that, okay? Yeah, grab your ears, okay? If you have a long beard, go grab your beard, kind of stuff like that. It's desperation out of them because they're stuck. They're a fish out of water, all right? If that were to happen, immediately focus on just swarming the person as a whole, okay? If you're getting, doing this, try not so much of trying to focus on the hand so much, right now anyways. Just try to improve your position to where you can actually now subdue all the other little bits and pieces that are just being annoying to you. Okay? Does that make sense?
It does.
I
Okay.
think so.
All right. So what I mean is just like, you know, someone, okay, everybody now watches the UFC, so they have an idea what the guard is. I don't know how many times I've seen, you know, Billy Badasses think that they know what a guard is and they've never trained in their life, and they'll put someone in their guard, but they have no real control. They're just holding on to their legs, right? And they're probably squeezing and pushing the person back, right? That's not guard as we know. Well, it's super easy. You can start, you know, punching them, or you can start to open their guard in this position because they're going to be trying to punch you back kind of motion. Here like that, yeah, just like that. If that happens, you want to commit forward. You want to commit forward, pop up, and then just try to work your way out of those legs as you just work your way back inside. Here like this, and then now you can start to work on isolating all these other little knickknacks. Okay, so you just kind of like do like a tsunami wave on top of them. Okay, that's how you can just get over a lot of their, you know, weirdness that's happening towards you. Just drive with your head forward. Just get your head inside and just push forward. Tripod your butt up so they can have space to move up and around their legs, and then you can just go straight into side control or mount. Okay? All right, so again, so the person brings their feet in front, like that. If she does it correctly, as soon as she brings her feet to the front and she wants to get back up or just get the upper hand, I should say, she's going to have to put weight on her feet and kind of push me back. So that way I'm off like this, and it gives her the ability to, you know, re-tackle me to get back on top, right? But I don't want her to do that to me. So this is, again, where having tunnel vision when you're getting punched is a bad idea. You're going to have to be aware of your connection points. And as soon as this happens, and that, yeah, like that happens, is you have to get that foot off immediately, okay? Whether it's both feet or just one, just pick one, whichever is easiest to you. And as soon as you feel the weight on your body, you just get it off, okay? Get it off so they have to reset. If they get tunnel vision, they won't realize that this one is off, and they're gonna try to push you, and they're gonna try to come up at the same time, only for them to catch, you know, a fist in the face. All right, and that's gonna be easier now for you to start to pass and maybe get stuck. You know, make them get stuck, and you can work them over. Okay, so you can pass over side control. You can stay on top of half. When you are punching top half guard, boom, here is your best friend. Okay, because you are right on top of them. You're using all this forearm strikes, elbow strikes, punching, okay, to be able to work them over. And if they try to escape, you walk with them. And you're here, and you're just punching them over. You know, stiff arm the person and then elbow that person, okay? You're just working here. You can posture up, and you can start punching them. Boom, boom, punch the body, okay? They put this knee shield on, just open it back up and work the body and get to the face, okay? So being in top half when you're punching is probably one of the best positions you can ever be in, all right? It was made popular by Randy Couture and all of those guys from Team Quest back in the early 2000s. Because they come from a heavy wrestling background, they would go against the Brazilian black belts. And the Brazilian black belts, unfortunately, did not have such a strong wrestling takedown offense and defense against the American wrestlers. So they would settle for half guard. Because half guard in no gi and in the gi grappling is a very effective tool. It's very dynamic. And so in punching, but you just gotta be able to adjust to the punches. And so they would be in half guard, and they would just try to hold them down, because back in the day, the half guard was only used to hold people down on top of you. It wasn't used to be dynamic and to sweeps and do all this other stuff. It was just used to hold someone down on top of you until you would clear the cobwebs in your head, and you could either A, go back up to your feet, or B, get them back into your clothes guard. Okay? So in those times, Randy Couture and these American wrestlers, they figured out that if you sit, if you use that half guard from the top and control it, you can inflict a lot of damage. Because the Brazilian black belts will have that mentality that all I have to do is just hold on and wait here for a little bit longer so they can get tired, and they will give me the opening and I can escape, right? But so they use that mentality against them, and they use that position against them, okay? So they would go against those black belts, they would get stuck in a half guard, and the black belts would not be dynamic with it, and they would just stay there and just eat punches all day long. All right, and then for a while they were like, I don't even know why I lost, because half guard it's kind of like a useless position anyways. I don't know why I lost from that position. And for a little short time, if you lost from half guard, you didn't really know what you were doing. That was kind of like thing. It was shame upon you, okay, and shame on your family for you not knowing what to do in half guard. Okay, but what they did is because in wrestling, there's a move called the leg Turk. I don't know why it's called the leg Turk, to be honest. I haven't done the research on it. But I think it's because of the Turkish style of wrestling, where they wrap their legs with your legs and they use that to control your body. Okay? So in American wrestling and folk style wrestling, the leg Turk is pretty popular. It's part of a leg ride series, which they literally sit on your leg as they wrap their own legs around the one leg in a half guard, but from the top, and they will use that to pin the person. They will use that to control the person's shoulders by lifting this leg up or down. Okay. Well, Randy Couture and all these American wrestlers, they figured it out how to manipulate that control and use that lazy mentality of a black belt in half guard to be able to inflict the most damage into it. Okay, and this is what I mean. So we're gonna let's
Turn the buttons down.
there you go. Okay, all right. So this is what I mean. So this is pretty much like the gist of a leg turn in MMA is here. Okay, they pinch the thigh, and they keep this knee. They keep this knee off the ground as much as they can. And then they will knee walk over to the other side, okay? Like this, as best as they can. And they will sit down like that, okay? So if the person tries to move, if they try to hip escape, it becomes very, very hard. And you see right there, so when she would hip escape, what's open?
Face.
Her face. So she's using both hands to block my shoulders, or even block, push on the leg. That's a punch. That's an elbow. You get hit one good time right here, boom, you're gonna cover up, and they go right back into controlling the leg shark position, and it'll be body, body, head, body, body, head, and they'll stay here for 15, 20, 30 minutes at a time. They might posture back up, and they'll capture the hands, and they'll start working. Start working here. They'll hammer fist over at the ribs, the floating ribs. They'll start going here. They'll pinch the elbows together, and they'll come over to the head. And then they would wrap up again, and they would work over the leg turkey again position, and continue to flatten the person out. Okay?
Is there a submission that we could use in that position?
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of submissions, a bunch of front headlock positions. So that's where you get into like the Darce chokes, the Bravo chokes, the Anaconda chokes, that kind of stuff. It starts from there.
Got it.
There's one called Mother's Milk. And the reason why it's because they bring the shoulder and the arm across the sternum, and then they lay on it as they squeeze the head forward. So it's like you're feeding a baby in a way. That's what they call it, mother's milk. That's the explanation I was given. Okay, but it's just a lot of weight on front of the chest.
It's a stupid name.
It's a stupid name, but it's funny though. Like, what are you gonna say? I lost to a submission called mother's milk. You have to explain what it is, and it's more ridiculous when you explain it. Okay. But yeah, so submissions. Get closer. So submissions is you punch them into them submitting, right? They'll start. So now you get a TKO. Other submissions from here. You're here like this. They start trying to cover, trying to do this. You're going to take that opportunity to get your arms through. You start going into your head arm choke. Okay? If you're brave enough, a lot of the time from here, the guys they'll fall back over this way and they will squeeze it so tight. Okay? If you want to do it correctly, you go for the head arm choke position. You're going to tripod up and move your shin all the way to the other side to go to mount so that you can finish from there. Okay? Head arm choke is going to be your best bet for sure. Okay? Other positions, and they have the underhook on you. Right? You wrap overhook and you get it all the way to the other side, just like that. Okay? And then you get your arm through. Now you are into like a Darce choke. Okay? They have the underhook. You swim your hand behind their armpit. You bring it underneath their chin, and you get your palm to come all the way out on the other side of their shoulder. Okay? On top of the shoulder. You're going to use your other free hand, and you're going to pull and tuck their head further into your belly. You're going to slide your hand, and you're going to slide your hand past their back, and your bicep is going to meet your hand on the bottom. Like that. Okay? So once you have that position, you're going to hold on to the lat, and you're going to collapse on the shoulder, and you're going to put so much tension and pressure on that neck that they're going to tap. And if they don't, they're going to go to sleep. Because it's a combination of both of like a neck crank and a choke, depending on how this person is going to defend it. Okay? But more than likely, they're going to go to sleep after about probably a good 15 seconds or so, if they don't really know what's going on. If they do enough good job of defending it, it'll probably be about 30 seconds before they're going to go to sleep. Okay? Because people are going to try to open up so that you will have to struggle more. But you will have so much weight on top of them that they will eventually go to sleep. All right? The mistake that you'll do here, Phil, is that you will get your arms tense. You're going to tense up prematurely. You'll get your arms here. You get about right here, and then you're going to get tense up. As you get tense up, your grip gets really short on your bicep, and you barely have it. So you're going to have to like relax and get all the way in there. So that way you can just go, just collapse it. Okay? That's probably the other popular and common choke from that position, aside from the head arm entry. It's the Darce choke. All right? There's another one, Phil, and this one it's more about feel, but it's a lung chest compression. Works with the underhook. They catch in the underhook, and you're going to have to get a high whizzer or a very high overhook over their underhook and bring your blade of your forearm high up into their armpit. And then you're going to turn your hand like you're going to stab them in the heart, just like so. And then you're going to kind of lay on top of their arm as you lay on top of your own arm, pressing into their ribs and into their chest.
Well, they're on their side.
Yeah, when they are on their side. And the more they turn towards their shoulder, the more they lay flat, the worse it gets. All right. But the key is that you gotta have the blade going, ceiling and ground, not face and hips. Okay, like that. So your thumb has to face that ceiling, and your pinky is gonna face the ground. Do you see that? Okay. If I
Yeah.
put the blade the wrong way, now the thumb is facing, her face, and the pinky's facing my hips. I don't want that. I want that here. Okay, and she can feel it right now. She can feel the bony. Okay, so once you do that, once you make that turn over and you stab them, you pretend like you stab them in the heart, you lay your body on top of them. And it puts so much pressure down into that rib, into the chest, that if the person at the bottom gets stubborn and you're doing it correctly, they will pop a rib out.
I would say, because it's a compression.
Yeah, it is a compression. And for me, Phil, that's actually one of my favorite ways
It hurts.
of controlling someone bigger than me from that position. I will use that overhook and kind of make that motion that I stab them in the heart. Blade goes into the ribs, and I will lay on top of it. And the more they move, the worse it gets. The longer they stay there, the worse it gets. The more they get on their shoulder, the worse it gets. The more they panic breathe, the worse it gets. Okay? Because after a while, you'll get really good at isolating that focal point of the pain. And you will get really good at feeling where the rib is and where the cartilage is. And over time, you're going to go right into the cartilage. All right? That's going to be more painful. You're going to put that much weight into that cartilage, and the more they breathe in and out, the worse it's going to be, because their rib cage will not be able to expand properly. Okay?
What's the name of this?
To be honest, I really don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know. I'll try to make some.
That's your special.
No, it's not my special. I learned this in Houston from Professor Travis Took. He was hosting a MMA seminar with a bunch of his students that fought in the UFC and that fought Muay Thai all over the world. And that was kind of like the highlight that I remember from that seminar was we were going over that position and how to manipulate that overhook and kind of make them regret everything that they did to you. I just don't remember the name. I just remember that it hurt really bad.
It does hurt really bad.
I definitely want everybody else to feel the pain.
I mean, it hurts like, I don't know. It's like a calf slicer or something. Like that's
Yeah.
what it feels like. That kind of pain.
It's just like a muscle compression, but it's just.
It hurts. Really
But
bad.
it's worse. It's worse because you don't really have much muscle right here.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're able to just aim it correctly and slide it right into the cartilage, it just sucks more. Okay, it just sucks.
That's another one of those moves they'll need to fill along with a leg kick when we get back.
Yeah, and for sure, and this also is the same concept that I like to use on the bigger people when I'm from side control and I go for arm bars. And I need for them to stay put. I need for them to stay, down on their shoulders another 2 seconds so I can get to my position a lot easier. It's the same idea. I wrap around underneath with an overhook and I put pressure on them, cause the people to kind of freeze for about 2-3 seconds. Enough time for me to go around to the other side and get to my position to get the Kimura or the armbar. But it's been very successful for me. And again, I learned that in Houston with Professor Travis Took, and I've been able to use that concept and just apply it in different positions to get the most out of it.
Is he muted?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
All right. So any questions or comments?
None.
All right. Cool. I will go ahead and then upload it and send you guys the links. You guys
Sounds great.
okay?
Okay, thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
You guys.
Bye.